since then, I quit my job at the beginning of 2022 to pursue being a full-time content creator, but I was mainly on TikTok. And since then, I have purchased a single-family home by myself. I have 3 vehicles. 2 are paid off. 1 is not paid off. I was running a full rental car business from my house. That is this setup right here. I was able to pay cash for an app that's going to be released on iOS and Android very soon. I really did invest in myself. And granted, I will probably have to rent this house out or list this house to rent. And I'm more than likely will have to sell my 2 cars. And I don't feel like I'm starting over, but I'm in a different chapter in my life, and it's okay. With TikTok leaving, this doesn't mean I regret quitting my job or anything that I did, because the amount of things I was able to accomplish over the past 3 years, fucking amazing. And I didn't just blow the money. I invested the money. I invested the money that I was able to make on TikTok, and I am truly grateful and thankful. I was able to meet amazing people. Like, I did these meetups, and I think I'm probably going to be doing my last meetup this year, but I did a meetup every year in September. And I was able to meet some of the amazing people that made this possible for me. So I have absolutely no regrets. I have no regrets. I am going to fully be on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. If anybody wants to follow me, my name is the same on all platforms. But I'm grateful. I'm thankful. It is bittersweet. It's sad, but...
All right, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kwadash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone, well and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abba. So as you saw that woman, which obviously she was probably a Jake, and she was successful in the world, being financially successful using TikTok. And she tried to play it off and say there was no regrets. But at the end, you could hear her say that it's sad. Why is it sad? Because they're not going to have that platform to show off their flesh and get paid for it. All right. And what you don't realize, this is an omen, a prophecy, all right, of what's to come with the dollar altogether. The US dollar is going to collapse just like TikTok. Went out of business overnight, 1 hour, 1 day. There's going to come a day where they make the implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling. All right. And with that, in 1 day and 1 hour will come nuclear destruction of America. And America will be completely put offline forever. All right. This is prophesied in the Holy Scriptures. So as this says from TikTok, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the U.S. So a law has been enacted. And this is why we always tell you that these devils, the so-called Caucasians, all right, they're deceiving you, saying that America is a free country, but then they could put laws in place to control what you have access to, which is lies, right? They're lying when they say that this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Where's the fuck the brave at, right? Where's the brave Americans? Show me them. They don't exist. All right. There's fear, a voice of fear and trembling. But it says in Revelation 13:11, it says, and I beheld another beast. This beast is America coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. So they act like they're for you. They talk about it as Republicans and Democrats, that they're for their people. And he spake as a dragon. Dragon meaning draconian law. And that dragon is talking about that so-called white race. All right. And they're going to come down with draconian law. All right. And you can read about it yourself, draconian constitution. All right. And it was during the Romans. And when they were ruling over the rest of the world, even the Greeks, all right, they were using draconian law, Draco's code, which goes back to an Edomite. All right, and pretty much they will put you to death for the smallest things. And that's where this is coming to. Okay, America, they're going to bring out the death penalty against them that fear the Lord of the Bible and have some form of righteousness as an Israelite. But you're going to have sedition among men, even their own people are going to rise up against their government, which we're commanded not to be part of. In the Holy Scriptures, it commands us to be still and be in peace, trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, understanding the judgments, looking for the mercies. All right? Revelation 13, verse 16, I'm going to start at 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And that's happening right now. If you don't realize that, you're pretty much going to be destroyed. All right? We're seeing this new world order come into reality. And that's why even them moving the inauguration indoors, which is a historical event, it's because this is a new world order. This is no longer what you knew as USA or America. All right, they're going to come down with draconian law, which they're going to put you to death, all right, for the least of things. All right, it's pretty much going to be depopulation, all right, with a capital D. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that's where these laws are going to go to. It's going to go from them stopping you from having free information, you deciding what is good or bad, to them pretty much killing you, because they're going to make it mandatory that everyone has a implantable microchip implanted in their body. And they're going to bring chaos to bring out that new world order. It says, and he causeth all, he being the elite of the so-called white race, the red devils the Bible speaks of as Edom, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. That mark is the implantable microchip in their right hand or in their foreheads. And it's just going to happen like TikTok. They told you it was happening. We've been telling you these things were going to happen. We're not amazed by them. In fact, I rejoice seeing TikTok shut down. All right? There was nothing but wickedness on it for the most part. All right? And as you saw, that woman, she was able to get money. Where she had that attitude, I don't need a man. She was able to sleep with all kinds of men. That's wickedness. So I'm glad TikTok got shut down. Just like I'm going to be glad when this MOTB becomes mandatory and these reprobates start taking that shit. Because that means we're almost out of here. Because after this is all done and said, nuclear destruction of America is going to take place in 1 day and 1 hour, just like TikTok shut down in 1 day and 1 hour. See, you wasn't even expecting it. They told you Sunday, they shut it down on Saturday, showing you that you ain't shit. See, and they're going to do the same thing with that MOTB. You're going to get cancer and break out with sickness from it, and you ain't going to be able to do shit. See, but we know, so we're going to avoid it. Lord willing, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he keeps us, which he don't give us this truth to, throw us out of the truth. What takes us out of the truth is our flesh. So that's why you want to mortify the deeds of the body and focus on the spirit. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that's where it's going. Pretty much you're going to be an outlaw if you don't have this implantable microchip. All right? Just like they made laws to outlaw TikTok, They already exist, really. They already exist. They're just gonna enforce them, and one day it's gonna be enforced that you have to have an implantable microchip. Now, if you take this though, it's gonna condemn you to the lake of fire, to the destruction of America. It says in verse 18, "Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man." It's that so-called white race. Look at Elon Musk. What is he developing in his business? And really, it ain't him. There's a team behind him. All right? And they're developing Neuralink, an implantable microchip. And then he just changes his name at the same time to Big Ass Demon. Okay? Come on. And you don't understand what time it is? Shame on you. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 666, which goes to that barcode system, which they put inside that implantable microchip. All right? And it came from them branding. They used to brand their slaves back in the ancient world, and then they have barcode systems. Now they're putting the barcode in the microchip, and they're going to put the microchip in you. See? As property. It's going to make you as property. They're going to say you need this microchip to be bailed out of your trouble. When you look up bail, Ba'al, in the Hebrew, it means to be owner. So he's going to be owner over you. It says in Revelation 14:9, and just like that young woman that we saw earlier in this video, what'd she say? She has to sell everything. And eventually it's going to lead to her selling her ass. She's going to sell her house. She said, "Oh, I got to rent the house. I can't afford to live here no more because I don't have TikTok." She had 3 cars. She's going to have to sell 2. She said she was going to have to let everything go, and she's even going to have to let her self-respect go. Well, she already does, but instead of sleeping with rich men, she's going to be sleeping with poor men now because she's going to be even more poor than them. You see? So the Lord's going to bring a great time of judgment on this earth, and the woman being the weaker vessel is going to get it the worst. You see, and the children and the men, it says they're going to die of famine. That's a horrible death. Or of the sword, right? And all the way up into the nuclear destruction. It says in Revelation 14:9, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the microchip, the same shall drink with the wine of the wrath of Yahweh. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb." See? So they're going to be in that lake of fire. America, which nuclear missiles are going to devour this place. It says, "And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night," which it's going to be that when they take that implantable microchip, they're going to break out with swords, so they're not going to be able to rest. All right? But this destruction is going to endure for a long time. It's going to burn for a long time, and then it's going to smoke for a long time, and then it's eventually going to be just a desert and remembered as a place of judgment. "And whosoever receiveth the mark of his name, here is the patience of the saints." Right? So they that receive that mark, they're going to be destroyed. "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushai," which we believe Yahushai is coming back at the command of Yahweh, which we have the scriptures. And it tells us that they're going to make this device, all right, mandatory for buying and selling before the return of Yahushua. But when Yahushua returns, everyone that has that implantable microchip is going to be destroyed. All right. It says in Exodus 22, it says, verse 20, he that sanctifieth unto any God save unto Yahweh, only he shall be utterly destroyed. And that's what they're going to do by taking that implantable microchip. They're going to serve Edom as a god, and they're going to be destroyed with him. Because Edom is a witch, and it tells you that a witch shall not live. It says in verse 18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. See? Whosoever lieth with the beast shall be put to death. See, shall surely be put to death. So all these things that I'm reading out of the commandments of Yahweh, America is guilty of. And they claim to be a Christian nation. Trump just gave a speech about white Jesus on what they call Christmas. Now, if you read in the scriptures, there's no white Jesus. See? So they're adding and taking away. According to the prophecies in Revelation, plagues are added to this place. Curses. See, and the Israelites that follow the so-called white race, you're seen as a witch. You're seen as laying with the beast. You're seen as worshiping a false god. And you're going to be destroyed at the return of Yahushua by fire, the lake of fire. And if you're gathered into his troops, the military that's going to go over to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahushua is going to mount you there first. See? But for his elect, he's going to save us. He's going to save his elect. It's in Matthew 24, verse 31. And this is red letter, so he's the one. I'll start at 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, Yahushua, in heaven. We don't have to go look for him. He's right. He's coming from heaven. He's going to meet us where we are. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, which he's coming with the armies of heaven. It's going to be a dreadful day. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. And that's what Tik Tok shutdown is. It's a parable to the coming day of the implantable microchip being made mandatory. It's a parable to the day that the Lord comes back and fulfills the scriptures, his commandments, and destroys all the wicked and them that do wickedly in America. All right? Which the remnant of the wicked, all right, the elite that have bunkers and they're hiding in different parts of the world, they're going to be allowed that to be preserved for slavery. They're going to be the first heathen in slavery. You see, and then the ones that died in the destruction, they're going to be brought back. We're going to breed them back as slaves. All right? But this is a parable of the end of America. All right? Isaiah 14. Just like TikTok got shut down in America, America is shutting down. All right? It's a parable to the shutting down of America. It says, it says in verse 3 of Isaiah 14, I'll just start at 1. It says, "For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them." The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians of North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbeans, and they've been scattered throughout the world in slavery. We've been chased out of our land since 70 AD and earlier. All right, you had the Southern Kingdom, which are Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the American Negro, the Jamaican, the so-called Jamaican, and the so-called Haitian, which were brought here on slave ships. And that was after the destruction of the Northern Kingdom, which you had living in America. All right, and that's why when Christopher Columbus, or Cristobal Colon, which was set up by the Spanish crown, came with I believe it was 5 to 6 Hebrew translators. All right, because they knew they were going to meet Israelites over here in what you know today as America, but he didn't touch America. Other Edomites did after him, but he started it off by getting to his Hispaniola. All right, and he brought the sword, a false religion, Christianity, with that image of Cesare Borgia, and he was hungry for gold, which he enslaved the Israelites, raped, robbed, and murdered. All right? So the Lord's going to save us from our oppressor. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. And the promises went to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which Jacob's sons are the Israelites, and set them in their own land, which we're in land of oppression now. But the Lord is going to remove us and destroy this land and put us back in the promised land. And the strangers, the Israelites, shall be joined with them. All right? Because we've been scattered throughout the world in slavery. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. They're going to understand these scriptures and believe and cleave to this truth. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is the time we're in. We're going to go from the slave to the master. And the master of this world, the wicked, the devil, the so-called white race, and the other nations that rule over us, they're going to go into slavery under us. It says, "And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve," which we became slaves because we sinned. And it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. So he's breaking this yoke off our neck so that we could prophesy against Babylon and say, "How have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased?" What's going on here, man? Right? Nobody knows what's happening. Why are these things happening? Right? There's on World Star Hip Hop, there's videos of these young Jake. You know, it includes Esau and the other nations, but people have been making lots of money with that TikTok. And these Edomites, they shut that shit down. And really, it was really the Lord that did it. Because the Lord's done with this wicked place. It's over. That's why TikTok is what? Time. This place is done. America's finished. All right? And it's only going to get worse every day. Every day. Until eventually nuclear destruction. "That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon," to the elite, which you have the prophets. We've been warning you of these things. And we actually even give warning to the heathen, not in telling them they have salvation, because only Israel has salvation, and not all Israel is of Israel today, but we're actually preparing them for their destruction. See? So when these things come upon the earth, they know that, the prophet warned them that it was Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai prepared them for that day of judgment. So that the Lord, when he comes, they know it was the God of the Bible that sent his holy son. And say, how had the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. See, with the exclamation point. We're excited. I'm glad to see this shit go down. America is a fucking shithole that corrupts the whole world. All the shit that America dumps, it goes throughout the world and destroys the world. So I'm glad to see this place go. In 2 Ezra 15, it tells you that's why the prophet was raised up, because this wicked man, the so-called white race, has fulfilled his wickedness. And we're at the end. Once again, Elon Musk, right next to the president, pushing that implantable microchip. That's what time we're in. And it's going to come a day and an hour. They're going to tell you, hey, your dollar's done. Your dollar has no value, just like they said about your TikTok account. Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, which pretty much they're going to be pushed into the situation of making that chip mandatory for buying and selling and making that dollar worth nothing. See? He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, which this is a continual stroke. The so-called white man enforcing these laws, it's already rough enough out here with the lack of jobs, the high prices, the economy no good, right? And he shuts down fucking TikTok, which these Americans were making money on it, at least being entertained by it. So the so-called white man is that devil. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. And that's the thing. They're not going to care. There's going to come a point where they don't care anymore. And it tells you in 2 Ezra 15 that there's sedition amongst men. There's going to be people that lose it because they're losing everything. It's prophesied. Evil men shall wax worse and worse. The love of many shall wax cold. The blood shall be up to the horse's bridle. This is the time we are in. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Wa abab abal.